And then one of my friends went up to another guy that had a Dr. Pepper, and he was like, "Hey man, can I have a drink of your Dr. Pepper?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And so he switched them when he did that, and then came back later and he's like, "Hey, I'll race you chugging contest." Okay. And the guy's just, man, about 30 minutes later, he was in class, and everybody knew about it. He raised his hand like to go to the bathroom, and everybody started laughing. And then he goes to the bathroom and thinks that he's got to take a dump, but like takes his pants down and then just like throws up all over the floor. And I never gave him anything. So it was one of those situations where it's like, how can I not get in trouble for this?
Right.
And so like this guy gave him the ipecac and this person did that. And then they're like, well, where'd it come from? And I was like, well, I brought it. Like, oh, you brought drugs to school. And I'm like, well, no. It's not a drug. You can go buy that at anywhere. Like, you can get this at Dillon's and Walgreens. It's not a drug. We're like, I was like, if somebody had swallowed something poisonous, you'd be singing a different tune right now, because I had syrup of ipecac. They would not were not happy with me. I got in trouble for that one.
Well, there's one. This one's already up. We're going. So this one, this one, I got in a fight like my first year of high school because there was this kid that messing with me, and so we're talking shit back and forth on Facebook like the night before, and my dad he was always kind of more like, you go handle it or whatever. And so he's like, "Here, give me your phone. I'll tell you what to say." So he types out. He says, because it's a fat kid. He said, "Listen, motherfucker, if you don't leave me the fuck alone, I'll skull fuck you." Let me rephrase this. He said, "I'll shove a Twinkie so far up your ass, you'll be burping cream for a week after doing skull fucking you," or just something like that.
God,
and then so.
That's pretty graphic.
Welcome to the podcast. Anyway,
Episode 27.
Yeah. So I had this message after we got in this fight, printed out in front of me, and like the vice principal just slides it across the table. Like, "Can you explain this message to me?" I was like, "Oh, it's pretty self-explanatory."
It is. I was on my senior trip one time, and we stayed at in the Ozarks somewhere, and it was like a big retreat kind of thing. And there's this one kid, and there's nothing. Looking back, we were just kind of mean to him. He was a little smelly or something, right? He's just a little smelly kid. And he had the Nalgene bottles, and those were a big craze. And he left it on the ground, and we were about to go to bed. And so we grabbed the Nalgene bottle and we peed in the Nalgene bottle. And then, we hid it, put it back, all that stuff. And then we went back to bed and we pretended we were asleep. And the guy comes in, he puts this head flashlight on, which just makes the story better. Turns the head flashlight on so he can see where he's going. He grabs the Nalgene bottle, and I can hear him picking it up. I can hear the lid opening really slowly.
How you not losing it?
We're trying not to laugh the whole time. And then all of a sudden he takes a drink and just spits it everywhere. "Somebody pissed in my water bottle." And we just pop up out of bed. We're like, "Dude, what? It's like, somebody peed in my water bottle." I'm like, "Yeah, and that's messed up, dude. Who would do that?" And then my friend had to brag about it, so he got in trouble. I didn't get in trouble.
Got for it.
It was one of those situations where I told him, I was like, and I learned this one from you. I was like, they're not going to split this punishment halfway for me and halfway for you. It's not like, here's 100% of the punishment, you get half, I get half. They're just going to give us both the same punishment. Yeah. I was like, everybody knows you did this. Nobody knows I did this. So just you take the blame. Don't bring me into it, and let's just play it that way. And he was like, okay. And so I didn't get in trouble for that, but his mom was a teacher and she hated me. So she knew. The technicalities,
I mean, there's so many stupid things we could talk about that we've done when we were high school or whatever. There's one time that we were going around and we got a can of shaving cream, and we did a dick on a garage door.
Okay.
And we didn't realize is that it bleaches the paint. So you have this bleached dick on this garage door, and we did it to one of our friends, and they know it's us because we didn't think because they're out of town, so it's dick on a garage door, and they come back to their garage door just bleached. Or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So then there's 2 or 3 months of this lady trying to get in contact with my dad to pay for the garage,
Yeah.
and me just avoiding it. It's trying to
we all do stupid things and grow up and learn better. I wouldn't pee in a water bottle anymore, but maybe.
Yeah, I was a little dirty.
Yeah, it was kind of gross.
I still might draw the dick on the garage door.
I know, but back then it was funny. So today it's kind of gross, disgusting. I apologize.
I think urine is sterile.
Urine is sterile. He wasn't going to get me. Yeah, it's okay.
It's not as bad as the kid in my fraternity who would used to. Didn't get a lot of women, so he would do a turn technique, so to say. if when he was pleasuring himself, and then just let it go on the wall.
Okay.
And then so one time we went in there with a black light, and it was just lit up.
Gross.
And then,
Disgusting.
Yeah. So
That's my fear when I go to a hotel room and I'm like, they've got the chair and like the desk and stuff. And I'm like, do I want to take a black light and look under this desk and like see what's in there? I do not actually. Like if I sit on those chairs, like put a towel down, I do not want to sit on this chair. Like somebody's naked ass has been here doing some stuff. So no thanks.
I just try not to think about those things.
Yeah, then my mind just goes there anyway.
Yeah. I know.
Well, welcome, Alex. Back again. Oh, the Blue Angels. There they are. Yeah. You probably won't hear it on the podcast. I'll probably just cut it out.
Yeah.
We got them flying overhead right now.
Little rumble.
Yeah.
Alex McGowan, episode 27. Welcome back. Thank you. Yeah.
Blue Angels pilot. I'm just kidding.
That'd be really cool. Dude, I was watching them yesterday. We had like zipping around how low that they're getting, just going straight up. Like, man, the G-force that they'll be putting on their body, how bad it's got to hurt afterwards.
Yeah.
Insane.
Crazy.
I bet you get like some crazy back pops out of that. Like, can you like who needs it? I bet like if you can get like a retired fighter pilot, get a hold of an F-16, you don't need a chiropractor. You can just like
Yeah. Maybe I thought it was supposed to be like decompression, not compression.
there's such thing as negative G's.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, do that.
You can go either or.
All right.
So
Oh, actually, it's actually great timing. I just finished watching both Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, and then we have this air show coming up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect
that,
timing.
My kids watched it with me. It was the first time they'd ever seen either one. So,
if you guys see me clap right here, as I'm going to kill this fly.
ooh, got him. Nice teamwork. We got him. Watch that. Watch it. Just drop him. There you go. All right. Back to business.
Well, hey, Jason.
We just had a murder live on the podcast.
Every life matters.
Peter's going to come after us.
That little bug right there will feed one of the wolf spiders or the brown recluses that are in here. It'll be
Hopefully
okay.
the wolf ones.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Do they
the
eat
wolf
dead
ones.
stuff or do they eat live stuff?
I don't think
Probably
they have a
dead stuff.
preference.
Okay. And then that's going to feed him.
Broc,
I
you want to look that up?
Jamie, what
Yeah,
wolf
yeah.
spiders eat?
Yeah. Do spiders prefer dead or alive?
Depends on the spider. It's a wolf spider.
Yeah, the good kind.
Yeah, they kill the brown recluses.
Yeah.
So, or eat them or something. So if I catch them in my house, I just leave them.
Yep.
I go for it.
Back to the Blue Angels, though.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I would hear them going by and then look out the window. And by the time I could look, they were
Gone.
way gone.
Crazy.
Yeah, way out there. You could see them.
I ran out earlier because I heard him coming and I ran out there to see something. And sure, I can't see
By the time you hear them, they're already.
nothing. Crazy.
They prefer live prey,
Do that.
but
Okay.
they will scavenge if times get rough.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave him there. That bug will feed another bug.
Give
So-
it a couple days.
Have you guys ever like got to fly in like a real like a military plane before? You? I mean, I know you have, but like what? Probably the big ones. Have you got in a little one?
Big ones, yeah.
Any-
Fighter jet.
Like any little ones?
No, not the little ones. Big ones for sure. A lot more noisier than the commercial ones because they don't have like as much insulation and such.
Yeah.
It's not about comfort.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Makes sense.
You would think of how much we pay for those things,
I took my kids. They have this Young Eagles thing, and at Jabara, one of the airports right next to right over here, actually.
Yeah.
And they give free flights to kids.
Nice.
So we went one time, and it was like, the kids were all going to get in there, and they started chickening out, and so all three of them got in there, and they started chickening out, and so then like two of them got out, and then finally the pilot kind of looks at me, and he knows that my oldest is about to get out. He's like, "Dad, hop in real quick. You can ride with me." So I get up there, and we take this Cessna, small little plane up into the sky, only like 5,000 feet up or whatever it is, 3,000 feet up, whatever, and just took it around. It was pretty cool.
So do they do just to be able to get their flight hours up?
They just do it as like I don't know if it's flight hours. Maybe you're right, but they do it to get younger people interested in flying. Is what what the whole reason of it
Yeah.
is or something. And so the kids go on the planes and
Yeah.
they get to see this and get
I had there back whenever I lived in Wichita, the house I lived in too off of Rock and Pawnee, my neighbor, I still don't know what the fuck he did in the Navy, but so he did John Wick competitive shooting.
okay.
He also did long distance competitive shooting, like up to a mile.
Yeah.
And turns out he also was a flight instructor too. I'm like, what the fuck do you not do, dude?
Crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
it was insane.
So he probably fixes everything around his house too.
Yeah.
Real man.
Well,
changes his own oil.
Changes his own
rotates
oil.
his tires.
Damn, I feel
Yeah.
so inferior right now.
I do social media for a body shop. Whenever I have a problem, I literally had him change my oil this past week. Like I asked
That's
him,
a nice hookup.
yeah, and I was like, hey, do you have anybody like not doing anything? And he's like, yeah, if you give him like $30 cash over there, he'll go change your oil and just go pick up the oil. I was like, okay. I was like, will he take the nail out of my tire and plug it too? And he's like, yeah. I was like, this is great. This is great.
That's where I need to go.
You know?
I just dropped a good 600 on some new tires and an oil change.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
It's great.
You know,
I do that.
You did.
A grand for me.
I only got 3 tires changed. One of them, they're like, one of them's okay. You can keep that one. I was like, all right, I'll keep it.
All right, I'll keep it if you insist. If you insist.
I was like, these tires you always tell me they're like 50,000 miles or 60,000 miles. I'm like, I only got 77,000 miles on my car, and I've gone through like 4 different. I'm like, so how am I not getting the mileage on these things? He's, well, you bought them from us. We're a Firestone dealer. I'll prorate those for you.
Yeah.
So however much you didn't get on those from your last purchase.
Yeah.
That's the prorated price.
So that's
too.
for us normal car driving people. What about Teslas?
Yeah.
That's all I wanna know.
Tires different
Man,
than Tesla.
I think they wear out faster because the battery makes it way heavier. And I don't know. I got a nail in one of my tires a while ago and took it to Bosley. They said they had one of those tires, so I went down there and hey, I just need to get this new tire. And he's like, "Well, you need to replace all 4." Nah, of course. I'm not. I want one tire.
Yeah.
No, it's all-wheel drive. You got to replace all 4 tires, otherwise it's going to cause problems. Rotating it different. Went out and measured them. Like, yeah.
He's a good salesman.
Yeah. He's like, yep, this one's 20 millimeters. This one's 25. Yeah, you're going to need to get all 4 of them. Yeah. And I was just like, never mind. And so went to Discount Tire. And they were like, yeah, we'll sell you one tire. Sure. And then sure enough, though, within a couple of months, I started getting error. Like, error on the screen that's like, your tires are, look low tread on the back tires or something like that. And I was like, that's right. And then I ended up getting 4 new tires later after I'd already bought the one. And so that one,
The gas money you saved, I think, probably covered it.
Yeah. Definitely, probably.
Yeah, I think it probably equals out or whatever.
Yeah, no oil changes.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you like? There's some oil you're gonna change at some point, right? Like gear oil or nothing? No. Oh,
electric, bro.
that is crazy. I mean, I there was oil in my e-bike in the gears.
There might have to change it.
I mean,
Like
you
a closed system
did
or
after the
something,
first 160 miles. You did.
Weird.
Then after that, it was like good for a long time, I guess.
Huh.
I
I rode that e-bike. It was pretty sweet.
I think I want to buy another one. I want it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bought it at the wrong time. I bought it when it was cold. I was in a predicament and I had to adapt.
That's true.
And adapt I did.
Yeah. How fast did that thing go? What was it, like 30 or something?
The thing went like 55 or 60. The fastest I got up to was 58.
Wow.
Yeah, that thing like sport mode. It went quick.
Yeah,
And
but down the street here. And it
Yeah.
was pretty fast. I think I got up to 30 something.
You can put a new battery in it and it will go to like 70.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're an expert.
Yeah, and so a beginner level person would have broken their face right there. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe 45 on the pavement, even with this like face mask, it's gonna suck pretty bad. It's not gonna be fun at all.
I went over a bike ramp whenever I was in like 3rd grade and must have fallen off sideways and hit my chin on the ground and got stitches right there. I remember like Jason or whoever it was like, man, if you were wearing your helmet, the chin strap would save
Yeah.
chin strap would save you. I'm like, you stop it. That's the life right there.
So I was going to ask him, were you wearing a helmet?
Yes, I was wearing my helmet. There has been times, dude. I've had my teeth knocked out multiple times. I've had my teeth knocked out when I was a kid. Like these 2 front ones are fake. Those little like plastic ramps. You jumped about, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even have plywood. when we were kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
there's the little set things you do where they like the little like middle thing, so you could like hop on, hop off, and they came with like a little set where you could double it. Like they're pretty cool. And I missed the ramp. Like I took off and I missed the like landing because we're trying to like do it at an angle.
Yeah.
And I just face planted straight at concrete, knocked those 2 teeth out. And then another time, I was not wearing a helmet there, which I should have been. I was driving a bike. But then another time, I was doing some work. I was changing the brakes on my Mustang right before I'm about to go back to my sophomore year of college. And I'm pulling the wrench back, and it slips and knocks out one of my bottom teeth, too.
Man,
Yeah. I literally spit out. I feel it. I'm like, spit it out. I'm like, yep, I know. That's gone.
that's
Or
pretty messed up.
yeah, but it didn't like take it to the root and just kind of broke it off. So
I mean, that's why I don't change my brakes.
yeah,
So,
that's why I quit working on my car. So I took a cold drink of water after that. Then I realized the nerve was exposed, and that did suck.
That's the crazy thing. Like for all the combat sports and stuff like that I do, I've never lost a tooth.
really,
Like I've even went head first after slipping on my bike because I was like pedaling as fast as I could, hit a little sand pit, tires like slightly turned. I went literally face first, hit straight in the ground.
Yeah.
Like I only chipped the bottom of my tooth right here, just a little bit.
really.
And then I had like road rash going up my nose, all over my forehead, and I lost part of my hair
Really?
from how bad it was, but never lost my tooth.
Huh.
Like I even went to the dentist. I was like, dude, I don't know how you still have your two big teeth. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
He did like he did like a little itty bitty ingrain on the bottom of my big tooth. Be able to replace that part better than that.
It's gross. Time's coming, I think. So,
Dude,
Yeah.
it's got it. It's
Dude,
got it.
that's really what's kept me out of wanting to do MMA fighting.
It's not real wood.
Is it's not real wood. Was my eye because like I've had so many surgeries and whatnot, and we spent like hundreds of grand of surgeries on it. So if I lose it in a fucking amateur MMA fight, that'd be pretty pointless or in vain.
That would be unfortunate.
Yeah,
We could be like that blind dude in the UFC that's over in
Oh, yeah.
Russia. He literally like his left eye is blind,
Yeah.
so he cannot fight stateside. He
Yeah,
can
they
only
always-
fight overseas.
Really?
They only send him over to
he's,
Middle East.
he's actually undefeated too. He's like 13-0.
Yeah, Shogma.
It's just too much of a liability or something.
Yeah,
Yes, huh?
yeah. But I mean, it's just like Michael Bisping somehow. So he fought Vitor Belfort back in the day, and this is back whenever when TRT was still out in the UFC, and you can Google it. Like Vitor, you could definitely tell.
Still
he's
alive.
abusing.
Yeah,
Well, he was using them. He's like, you can tell, like, just looking at his body that, like, that's not fucking natural.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, he spinning heel kicked Michael Bisping in the head, and Michael Bisping actually lost his eye. But with that being said, though, too, like, I kind of felt like there was kind of karma too, because Vitor is a very religious person, and at the weigh-in, like, Michael Bisping is looking at him, was like, Jesus isn't real. And then, bro,
Yeah.
fucking karma right on that. Yeah, he lost his eye
Bad news.
and he still somehow was still able to fight. And that he was because the doctors at the time, like he'd get his physical for weren't like really looking at him and stuff like that. So there's like, all right, hey, read the letters on the wall, close your eye, blah blah. They're not really looking at the paper, and he's just like keeping his good eye open, the
Yeah.
other eye. Yeah,
He
'cause
like
he's-
memorized it. He said. I
Yeah,
remember,
because he legitimately has a fake eye,
Crazy.
and he won a world title with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no. So that's been one of the reasons, and another one with the teeth thing. The teeth thing, I feel like I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
that's a big one for me. I've lost a couple of them, and it's like
Yeah.
it's not fun. Like a childhood trauma thing, I think.
Yeah.
When you're like 7 years old and 8, and just keep getting your teeth knocked out because your dad keeps building these ramps for you and telling you to jump them.
Yeah.
At some point, it's like I really don't want to lose any more of these teeth.
It's fair. I've never actually had a cavity with my adult teeth.
Really?
Yeah. So I went to the dentist and they were like, "You've never had a cavity." I was like, "I had tons of them when I was a kid."
It doesn't sound like you're enjoying life now.
It's my clean eating lifestyle, guys.
What's your brushing?
Yeah,
routine
give
like?
us your
They actually tell me that my teeth are extremely clean. I must brush too hard. I've got gums that are receding, so I got to be careful.
You floss?
No, I should. I
water
saw
floss, you
something.
can water pick.
I've got one of those. I don't use it though. Nicole had something stuck in her tooth one time, and she went and bought a water pick because she couldn't get it out. She's
Mhm.
like, "Okay, I'm gonna go buy one of these."
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah, like
bad enough piece of chicken stuck in there or something.
yeah. I mean, not to be sexist or anything, but I have noticed being a married man, the logical thinking of women in purchasing just doesn't exist whatsoever. Like let's take sales for example. Okay?
No comment.
no comment. No comment.
I've got a comment.
I feel like if everybody being a marketer in marketing or social media, everybody was like my wife and being able and like catching on to something or like, oh, that's such a good deal. Like,
Yeah.
my job would be so much easier.
Oh yeah.
But I just think women are just so much easier to like. I'm sorry, but it's true.
And maybe it may be true for some, but my wife is the opposite. Like if it's $10, she's like, it's $10. I really don't. It's okay. I'm like, it's $10. Go buy it. She's like, it's $30. Like, I really don't need it. I'm like, it's $30. Just buy it. I really don't care. Like, this is not. You don't even. This is nothing. Just buy it.
Yeah.
But she never does. So I'm like, all right.
See, it's funny because we go the opposite ways. Like, it's she wants the little stupid shit, and then I want her to buy the bigger stuff,
Oh, yeah.
right? So it's like the Stanley Cups. It's like the Stanley Cups was a big one because we spent a whole bunch of money on Yetis because she was a Yeti girl for a while, and then like Stanley became a thing, and then so we had to like start getting Stanley Cups and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then now, all the like handles on the Stanleys are breaking. So she's like, "Fuck Stanley, I'm over Stanley now." So I'm like, so now we're full circle back to Yeti.
Yeti's the winner.
Yeah, Yeti 1, Stanley 0. Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. We don't know.
Yeah, less lead. There's no handles to break off.
The lead is just a little plug in the bottom to keep the vacuum seal. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't.
You don't ever come in contact.
Yeah. You just shut up. Don't worry about it. You're not gonna own anything, and you'll be happy.
That's fair. 2030's coming soon.
So, what have you been up to lately, Alex?
Well, I mean, train, school, fight, repeat. I mean, just fought not too long ago, which is actually, I got questions for you both because you both were on the outside looking in.
Yep.
Because for the listeners out there, it was a highly contested split decision loss. Literally flip a coin. That's who won the fight. But I want to hear from you two since you guys were actually cage side watching it. So,
Yeah.
what'd you guys think?
It was a tough fight. That's what, like, the whole time I was watching it, it was like Alex fighting Alex. That's what it felt like. I was like, you guys were like so evenly matched with everything. I was like, normally you take him to the ground and just dominate somebody, and it's like you take him to the ground, and it's just like all of a sudden you guys have, a great matchup of he's good at jiu-jitsu, you're good at jiu-jitsu, you're both good at, striking. Like, it was just back and forth, and it was one of those things where I was like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a great fight in that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about MMA. What do you know?
Yeah, I don't know really how the judges score things.
Yeah.
Enough in MMA.
Was it split?
That.
So was it? It was a split decision.
Yeah, it was a split decision. So the way how they're supposed to judge it is off of effective striking, octagon control, aggressiveness, controlling like the pace, the tempo, and such. Because like the pace and the tempo, like it was constantly back and forth.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
Who was controlling it? Back and forth nonstop. Like, I definitely will say he hands down won the first round because he got the takedown, even though he didn't really do much with it.
Yeah.
I had that omoplata attempt to be able to, so then that allowed me to scramble to get back up to my feet. Second round, I would definitely say it was hands down my round. Had way better striking exchanges. I felt like I had better combinations and such. I definitely hurt him a lot more. Third round, he had more volume, but I definitely had like the more damaging strikes. Like, you can tell, like, one of my buddies was watching the fight the other day. He, like, you can see it whenever I get hit with the combination, I'm not really moving. But anytime like I'd hit him, you'd see like his fucking body move.
Yeah.
And then at that point in time, though, I know he got that takedown like 35 seconds left in the third round, but it was like outside the slam that he got, he really did nothing with it. And I was talking to Nick Barons about it because since he was sitting cage side, I was like, hey man, I was all like, you done reffing before or judging before? So like, how would you have scored it? Because so like I thought with the armbar attempt I had, I would have stolen the round back and such. And he said in his eyes, he would have thought I would have won the third round because I was the closest to finish the fight within that round. Because he had the slam, looked cool, everyone's cheering for it, et cetera, et cetera. But when the bell rang, that guy's arm was fully extended about another 10 seconds. His arm would have been broken or he would have tapped. So I was the closest of finishing the fight, and therefore I would have stolen the round back.
Yeah.
I think what happens a lot of times is, and you see this especially in like bigger organizations like UFC and whatnot, when they go over to like the country, like the home countries of like the champions and whatnot, and hold those cards over there.
Yeah.
You'll see some very, like the judges will react very much so off of crowd reaction too. So I feel like maybe if not seeing the fight, if he would have got that takedown at the end of the third round and they're cheering and whatnot, that would have been like, even if you probably won it, that would have been the reason why I would fear, just knowing that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying on that one. But with that being said, though, like I talked to Nick on it, and he actually sat by one of the judges, and this is where I got kind of like really pissed off about it. So if what he said is true, it's frustrating. But then going back kind of watching the fight, I get it. This is what we call like optics of the fight and such. So he said during the third round, because of his jab, he thought he broke my nose. Oh, yeah. And it's also because I touch my nose whenever I fight. It's more I do that after I get done throwing the combination. It's more like to make sure I reset. It's like, oh, hey, my hands are up. They're protecting my face and not just like down at my chest level and such. So it's like a little.
It's your OCD.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. That's like that's interesting.
Well, yeah, it's
like a little Poirier thing he does.
Well,
too.
It's not. Yeah, it's a little. Well, that's like a little niche because like I even like my coach, like you'll see him whenever he'd fight, he literally just kind of like put his own knuckle on top of his forehead, and that was like his little check to be able to make sure my hands are up. Yeah. So like, because I was talking to Nick, I was like, yeah, dude, my nose was broke. My nose was fucking crooked before the fight, dude. It's not any more crooked now. So definitely not broke. But he said that the judge thought that my nose was broke. So because of that, he said damage wise, he thought he won the round because of that. I was like, that's just bullshit. But then going back and watching the fight and like seeing myself, like I'll throw a combination and I'll kind of do that. I'm like, it's like, well, I can kind of see why he was doing it, but then again, it's like it's also a little niche of that's just for me to be able to make sure my hands are up. So
Yeah.
a little frustrating on that.
Yeah, that is
side of it.
frustrating. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
from-
that's it. That is so good. Sorry.
No, so from my point of view, I felt like in that third round, the striking exchange, I thought you were doing better.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
seemed like
yeah.
your striking was better. I didn't know if you had one of the judges that's like, oh, take down 2 points.
yeah,
for
yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
Still fairly close too, but so I didn't know if that's the way that he would have judged it. Like,
It could,
you get points
so
for
he
that.
got two of the judges be able to side
Yeah.
with him on our side, and then one judge sided with me. So it could have
Mhm.
very well been that because that's another thing about it too. Like sometimes what happens in a fight is whatever happens in the first half, judges forget about.
Mm.
Unless if there's like a huge big moment, because like in the second round, I hurt him where he almost dropped whenever when his back hit the cage wall. Like I had the biggest moment of the round, so
Yeah.
I hands down won that round.
Mhm.
He had the biggest round or biggest moment of third round because of the takedown and then the big slam right after. As soon as I threw up the armbar, because it's like he had the takedown, but then I threw up the armbar, and then he countered with a slam. Even though that I straightened out the arm, some of the judges may not have been able to see that part of it. So that's where it also kind of sucks too, because like for them, they it's like I don't know how deep it was.
Yeah.
But just all depends on the vantage point. Because like you have the cage and then the judges are all spread out. They're not all like sitting right beside each other. So they all have different vantage points. So
Yeah,
that's
that
one
makes
of that's
sense.
like one of the things why like some fights you can see scorecards all over the place because it just kind of depends on how they're viewing it. It might be a punch that completely misses me, but depending on the vantage point, it looks like it could very well have been hitting me. So
Yeah, that makes sense. What did that after that fight and going into your next fight, did it change the way that you trained or change strategy or anything?
yeah, I talked to my coach on some of the stuff that I wanted to do a little bit more. Definitely a little bit more footwork because that guy and I were kind of definitely just sat in front of each other and just trading.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, though, like with how much we were kicking each other's leg, like I was actually honestly trying to move in the third round, but my right leg just was like, nah, dude, it's done. Like, cause I remember he kicked me twice in the third round throughout the round, and my leg buckled. I'm like, God, this hurts so fucking bad.
How can you like how many times? Because they show the strike at the end of fights and whatnot, and you see
Yeah.
these people getting hit like anywhere from like a low striking fight would be 50 to 70 if it's like a 3 round fight, and then you get
Yeah.
up into like a 5 round fight, you get up into like mid 100s, and as far as like significant strikes.
I think him and I both landed probably within the 3 rounds, 100 strikes each.
So, and then out of those 100 strikes, how many of those were hurting you? Like as far as like where you're like, oh, like,
There was only one time that third round that when he actually like punched me to the head where it actually hurt. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that was, but that hurt. Like I was dazed. My body didn't show it. Like he couldn't fucking tell, or he would have started swarming me. So I definitely had a good poker face. But yeah, there was one point in time I was like, I don't know what the fuck that was. That fucking hurt. I didn't move. But the two of his kicks though, it definitely did buckle my leg where I couldn't put weight on it immediately. So I kind of was like just standing there. I was all like, hopefully he doesn't charge in. But I know if my leg was hurting, his leg was worse because his leg was purple at the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
My leg swelled up a little bit, but wasn't really bruised like his was. Like his leg was fucking bad. I've actually been contemplating just like messaging like, dude, my leg was hurting. I want to know how bad your leg is.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I saw him when he walked off the stage. And
Yeah.
His leg was like just
dude.
Yeah.
purple and
Yeah.
red. And
Crazy.
it looked
dude,
bad.
those things take effect so quick too. Like it takes 2 or 3, and then you're like, at least like for me, like in training, like 2 or 3 like good ones, and you're like, I don't want. To do
Well,
this
that's
anymore.
like the crazy thing about it too is like I still deal with a little bit of issue with my right leg at the moment. Like the other day, I was sparring on Tuesday, and one of my buddies kicked me there. We're wearing shin guards. I was like, "Yep, the spot's still pretty
Yeah.
tender. Like that still hurts."
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
feel them through the shin
Yeah.
guards too. Because I remember there's been times where I've tried to like, where I'll like put on, we'll train without shin guards just to try to like like deaden the nerves
Yeah,
and whatnot,
yeah.
and then I'll like get like it gets to the point where you're like it's starting to get sore or whatnot, or you feel maybe
Yeah.
like it's like I'll put on some shin guards and then you'll start going heavy, like, oh no, it's like I'm actually like, like there's some
Yeah.
real tenderness here. And I don't think people realize how like effective those things are and how new to MMA that is. Like people weren't using leg kicks effective until probably what, like 5,
Well,
6 years
I'd
ago?
say calf kicks.
Calf kicks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Calf kicks. Because like leg kicks have been around for a long,
Yeah.
long
Like
time.
upper thigh
But
kicks.
yeah, but the lower calf kick, like he even tried kicking my calf a couple times. And I checked it.
Really?
So he kicked it, I think, twice total. Like the first one was a partial check, but the second one I felt it on my shin, and like even a week later, like I put my finger on my shin, like, yep, that fucking hurts.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was tender there for a while. Like I've even known one guy who got kicked in the leg enough that actually tore part of his quad tendon.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Mhm.
crazy.
dude. Yeah,
I've seen that. There's that video out there where the guy, kicks a guy, steps back, and his leg buckles because he
Yeah.
broke his leg.
Yeah.
Or he kicked him
Yeah.
or whatever.
Dude,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it's very you've seen a lot more of that too, just because of how like I don't know if that's training or just because the techniques getting better or just like the talent or what do you think that is?
a little bit of mix of everything. It's for one, just people not like setting up the kick at all, and just kind of just throwing it power kick right out there. It's what we call like a naked kick. So like anybody can sit there and check a naked kick, like you see it coming from a mile away because that's the only thing that's coming at you. You turn your shin out, and depending on where they're kicking out at that upper calf. And you turn your knee out towards it, it's going to hit more towards that lower part of that knee and your shin where it's a thicker bone. Because obviously, if you go like middle shin and shin, like you can potentially break each other's bone.
Yeah, that's
But
what I'm talking about with that
y-
video. It's
yeah,
like that guy
yeah.
hit it, step back, and his leg just
Yeah. So,
split. Yeah.
but then they have those guys where they're kicking in the middle of their shin, but then yet they're kicking higher calf and it's hitting part of that knee instead, and it just cracks the tibia and fibia and just shatters straight through it.
Really?
I think the three big names that happened in the UFC was McGregor, Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman.
Yep.
What was crazy was that
There's another smaller name too.
yeah, well, one of the guys, there was a huge kickboxer I used to watch back in the day named Tyrone Sponga. I remember he did that in one of his fights. Dude, I don't know how tough that dude is, but like he literally like sat there, like looked at it and like waved the medical person to be able to come right in. I'm like, that's insane. Everyone else I always see like laying there crying, screaming agony. He's just all like, fuck.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, yeah, it's the other crazy injury I've seen would be the Pitbull one with Michael Venom Page, where he kneed him in the head.
Oh yeah. That dude shattered part of his skull.
Yeah,
fucking knee.
literally a
Yeah.
kneecap like shatter in his like
Hey,
middle of the
yeah.
skull. There's a dent in it.
Yeah, it
That's
was
messed up.
Cyborg, huge jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, it was Cyborg,
He fought
yeah.
Michael Venom Page in Bellator.
I've seen his
And
Pitbull.
he like was about to shoot in for a takedown, and Venom just jumped up with a flying knee and literally just kneecap hit him right there. He like laid there and they stretcher put him straight to the hospital, and then sure enough they did like the X-ray and his skull was cracked,
Wow.
kind of like partially a little bit caved in. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. How much pressure does it take to crack your skull,
Right.
right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That's nuts.
yeah. No, and this dude's like a wiry guy, like the one who beat him.
Uh-huh.
Like he's like skinny and wiry. Like his elbows and knees are sharp. dude. So
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like it's crazy. Like he's one of my favorite guys to watch. Now that he's in UFC, because that was when he was in Bellator. Now he's in UFC and he's doing
When that didn't mess up his knee, or whatever did that.
No, it's a weird thing. Like, so there's times where we're sparring and like we'll both kick each other at the exact same time and our knees hit.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny because it's always one person hurts, the other person's good. It's never like both our knees are hurting or that kind of stuff. It's like if I kick it, if we both hit and I'm not hurt, like I know he's hurt right now. So
Yeah.
I think I wonder if that comes down to like speed of the energy behind it, the force, or the,
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the two cars hitting each other,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So it's like if it's the mass or the force or the
Uh-huh.
acceleration, or what causes that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into MMA science. So
I don't even know how they keep score.
Yeah.
So I was just learning today.
So how would you describe his fighting like style? Because
So the guy who I fought was Josh Tradinghouse. At the time, he was 18-5. Dude's fought like he's pretty much done it all in the sport. Like he fought for the World Series of Fighting title back in the day against Marlon Moraes. Marlon Moraes went and fought for the UFC belt against Henry Cejudo later on in his career.
Marlon KO'd like clean KO'd Aljamain Sterling,
Yeah.
who was
and
a
then,
UFC champ.
and then he's been on the Ultimate Fighter and such. So it was like because like dropping down a weight class, we couldn't get me a fight. Like we were literally asking anybody and everybody. Like we even had like UFC veterans sitting there saying no. So this was the only guy that said yes, and it was literally like probably the toughest fucking fight we can get outside the UFC. It was basically it was a UFC level fight
Yeah.
made on the regional scene. So like I even had all the promoters and stuff like that come up to me afterwards. It was like, dude, there was like that was probably one of the most technical brawls I've ever seen live on the regional scene. Like
Yeah, that's
because
cool.
it wasn't one of those things that were like we're just like out there swinging haymakers at each other. Like it was still a very technical fight, but just constant action going at it with each other. But as far as like a style goes, like I mean, he's good everywhere. I mean, he's very well rounded, very good striking. He's got power. He was a lot larger than I thought he was going to be, especially with me like dropping away because I thought I was going to be the bigger guy. And then I got in there, I was like looking over, I was like, he's fucking big, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny how different body types can pull that weight out.
Yeah.
They can pull like different people can pull that weight a lot differently, and back thickness has a lot to do with it too. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people can keep a lot of like size within.
dude, his legs were big.
Really,
He had some big fucking tree trunks for.
Was he a wrestler?
Yeah, I think back in the day.
He sound the way you're describing him, he sounds like a wrestling heavy guy who
Yeah,
learned how to
I
strike.
know he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu and stuff like that too. But yeah, I mean, been there, done that. Like 18-5, he was one of the best, or still is one of the best in the world. So like dropping a split decision against him, it did nothing. It didn't hurt my stock at all.
Mhm.
I think last I checked, like the regional ranking, I was number 24 bantamweight in North America. So it's like out of like 900 or 1,000 other active
Nice.
bantamweights. So like, I'm still within the top 3%. So
Upcoming fight, you're doing bantamweight again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
that's
is your
my
new. This is where you're
yeah,
going.
that's my new home.
When,
So.
when is it, do you have one set yet? Or?
Yeah, November 2nd, fighting a guy named Michael Billup. Good little wrestler. I don't think he's going to be nearly as strong or as technical as the guy who I just fought. And he actually said no to me twice before.
Really?
So I don't know why, like, because I'm coming off a loss or because I got taken down my last fight, he's all of a sudden like, oh, yeah, now I can beat this guy. Like,
Yeah.
like, bro, I fought a dude that you're not on his fucking level. And we literally flip fucking coin and that's who won the fight. Like,
Yeah.
You're
So you go into these fights. Are you studying their fights?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
at this point in time, like he's had enough fights on stuff. Like, there's going to be certain patterns in their fight that they're still going to have. If they had it from day one and they're still having it, it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I talked to a lot of my amateur guys. I always tell them, like, hey, don't really like film study your guy because, like, except for the way that they come out, the way they come out is typically always going to be the same. If they're like fast, strong. A good fast starter, or if they're like a slow, methodical guy, got to get warmed up first. Like that's always going to be the same. But on the amateur scene, people are improving so much because they have a couple months in between fighting. They go from not knowing a goddamn thing to constantly training, getting better and better. So like that person you're studying may not be the same, but once you hit the pro side and you have enough pro fights, there's certain stuff that's always kind of going to be there that you can start finding the tendencies of like, oh, hey, you know what? Every time he throws up a head kick, he's always dropping his hands, or maybe he's not or he engages too closely, leaving his chin up in the air. Like there's just certain things that just won't ever change at a certain point in the guy's career.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bad habits
Yeah.
ingrained or
Yeah.
something like that. It's just natural. Yeah, I could see that.
What kind of style fighter is he? Is like an all around guy or more of a striker?
He calls himself a hybrid guy, but he's basically like he's more of a wrestler, and because of his wrestling threat, he can throw his hands.
Gotcha.
So like a lot of wrestlers out there, they may not be the best guy out there when it's just a pure striking match, but if they have the thread, the takedown allows them to be able to open up their hands a lot more. So he kind of has that ability on it, but it's all like, dude, I don't give a shit to take him down. I'll submit you if you put me on my back, or I'm gonna get back up and punch you in the face. So
Where have you been working at the most on like your game? Like where
everything.
everything?
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't concentrate in just one area because I mean, as a little guy, like we move so much and so fast that you got to be good at everything. In order to be able to be in the UFC, you look at all those guys at 155 and below, they're good at everything. It's not just like I can be good here and just learn how to avoid these other areas.
Yeah.
Did you watch CGI or ADCC?
Nope.
You did it?
No.
Dude, we could have had something else to talk about.
Yeah.
Could have had something else to talk
Did you,
about.
Jason?
I watched some highlights. The only one that I watched live was Cade Rutolo and Andrew Tackett.
Yeah, Andrew.
Tackett,
Yeah.
Yep. And that was a really good fight. But
Andrew's a bad dude. Did you ever watch that series, Who's Next?
No.
I was showing Jason this the other day. I'll put it up on the podcast here. He wrestles a guy down, or I'm sorry, a bull down. Like, you ever seen those like cowboy things where they'll start off
Front headlock?
yeah, like in a front headlock, and they let him out of the pin, and then your
Yeah.
goal is to like flip him, like steer flip him. Yeah, he did one of that. Like this like 170-pound 17-year-old like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, this kid's gonna be good. And then sure enough, like he's got against Rototolo, and what was that? The finals, I think. Or
It
no,
wasn't the finals.
it was for the semis, and the semis, and then winner went to the finals and whatnot. That should have been the finals, I think. Actually, no, never mind, because the guy who went against Cade in the finals was phenomenal. That blue-haired New Zealander, I think, Levi something.
Yeah, I don't know jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah,
Ninja the gamer.
No,
Never saw that.
no, dude. BJJ Fanatics was doing this like 40 or 48% off instructionals. So I bought like 2 instructionals, and they're like, "Well, you just bought some, so here's like 75% off if you buy 2 more within like."
They got you with the upsell.
I was like, "All right, fine." So
Post-purchase
yeah,
upsell.
so now I've literally just been at nights in my notebook, like watching instructionals, just like taking notes, like all this kind of stuff and whatnot. So the reason I was asking you on what are you working on is because I'm trying to figure out like, do I want to take in specifics of my game and like work on those and build those, or do I want to build those as a whole?
I mean, as a little person, you got to build as a whole. Like, you got to constantly improve in every area, or you're just going to get left behind. Like, bigger guys can get away with focusing on certain stuff just because, let's face it, like 265-pound dudes, like you get taken down and you have another 265-pound dude on top of you, like you're probably not going to get up. Like, that's a lot of fucking weight.
Yeah.
But then you got like 135-pound guy just laying on top of you, like you're going to be able to get up. So
That makes sense.
And you also got to consider like I would say that heavyweight guys are stronger pound for pound. I would think they're stronger pound for pound. Like I think that just the way that, or they may not be stronger, but the way that their bodies are like they're easier to get off each other. They're usually more round. They're easier to sweep. Like there's a lot less grappling technique usually.
Yeah, well, I think it just kind of also depends too. So like my coach, for example, Zach Cummins. Like you put him in a weight room. Zach Cummins. Right. You put him in a weight room, I guarantee Brock's going to outlift him. He's a 230-pound dude.
Okay.
But you put him on the mat, like it's weird too. Like the dude can do a pull up, but yet you put a gi over a pull up bar and you make him pull himself up using gi. He can do that all fucking day. It makes no fucking sense.
Oh,
like,
interesting.
yeah, but like once you get him like actual like on the mat moving, like that dude's strong as shit. Like his grips, the way he's
Real
able
world
to
strength.
Yeah.
See, it's always funny being a little guy when people because you'll either get somebody will tell you like, oh man, you're stronger than I thought, and it either means like, yeah, hey, you're actually pretty strong, or B, hey, chill out, asshole, like you're being too rough here, like so. It's always trying to differentiate which one that one actually means.
Yeah. Means I think you're weak, but wow, you're actually not that weak.
Yeah, exactly.
There was that night at your fight. There was also a guy that got his eye poked.
Yeah, I saw that. So that guy was in my locker room. That was really nasty. Actually,
Was it pretty bad?
dude? Yeah, the guy's eye. It was like he was talking to us and his eye was bleeding. I'm like,
Because everybody started booing him whenever he started, and I was like, I booed a little bit.
I booed a little bit.
I didn't know how bad it was. It was just everybody was doing it. I joined it.
The mob mentality.
The whiteness of his eye actually got cut.
Really?
Yeah,
I've had that happen one time, but not. It was a scratch, not like a bleed.
Yeah, his
And it
was
was-
actually yeah.
yeah.
Like because he's literally just standing there talking to us, and then it's like I start bleeding. I'm like, should probably go get something on that.
Yeah. I was at a church camp one time when we were playing basketball, and somebody's fingernail scratched the white part of my eye, and I went into the bathroom, and it was messed up.
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom, and I could see the like red where it was scratched, like they scratched something off of my eye, and it was messed up. Yeah.
Like, I'm never gonna be the same again.
Yeah, it hurt. Man, that was a bad one.
I have a cat eye.
You do?
A cat eye.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, look, you got a cat eye.
You think
I don't see it.
the guy who poked,
I still don't see it.
or who did the poking, you think it was more like he was less experienced? And I mean, I don't remember exactly what the situation was.
He's like Captain Insano.
Yeah,
I just feel like he was maybe like doing something.
So
and
the problem where that happens is also comes down to the way how you train. Like a lot of gyms still train in big gloves. You can get away with kind of like leaving your hand out like this because you got all that padding over your finger, right? And you can use that as like a rangefinder or keeping the distance and stuff like that, right? But the moment you start getting little gloves on, now you got the fingers exposed, and that's what creates a lot of big issues.
And okay, when you're saying big gloves, I just want to clarify for people. You don't just mean boxing gloves. You mean the more padded MMA gloves too, correct?
No, just thicker, because you have boxing gloves that are the same ounce as MMA gloves too. Like
They just cover your fingers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they cover your fingers, like your hands completely covered up, like you can't see any.
Yeah, like
mittens.
There's more like the the mittens. Yeah, okay, just clarifying that because I've noticed that too. The guys that usually spar with those on, and then when you switch over to kind of more like the
MMA, what we call them like Puffy's MMA grappling gloves because they're 8 ounce. They got a lot more padding on them. So what's crazy is like they have just as much padding as like a 16 ounce boxing glove, but they're smaller. So that way you can actually like use your hands and get grips and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you can put a little force into sparring or whatever.
Yeah. It's you definitely can throw a lot faster, and it's crazy too because like take bare knuckle. Like I just worked at a bare knuckle event over the weekend. And it's fascinating because you see like all these boxers that sit there and say that they can come into the bare knuckle and that they'll dominate. But it's like MMA guys are actually doing better in bare knuckle than boxers.
Really?
And it's because of the type of gloves we use. Like boxing, because they have the big gloves that cover the hands and they just take up more space. The way you block, the way you punch is completely different than have like little 4 ounce gloves. And then you transition over to bare knuckle where there is no glove, and that's similar to 4 ounce gloves. And plus, doing like boxing, you can't clinch it, and bare knuckle, you're allowed to clinch it and be able to dirty box from there. So MMA guys are actually like beating up true boxers in bare knuckle. It's actually pretty fascinating watching that.
Yeah, it is. The only time you ever see a distinction is I know there's just one like super like long guy. He was like I forgot his name. I actually knew his name in bare knuckle, but he was very phenomenal to watch because he's able to keep his distance. Like usually if those boxer guys can keep their distance, they can usually piece him up. But as soon as those MMA guys like get the clinch work going on them, it's over. Like they'll hit him with like some crazy uppercuts and whatnot. Like even MMA guy on MMA guy, like you got Luke Rockhold versus Mike Perry. He finished him, I think, with an uppercut and a clinch, like knocked his tooth out.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a effective way of fighting.
This bare knuckle's crazy, dude. Like just I don't know. Coming from an outsider, like you're gonna go and just get punched in the face bare knuckle like this. Just
I will do one before I'm done.
You will.
I was about to ask you that. I was like, would you do bare knuckle?
I do plan on doing one
Crazy, dude.
Before I'm because like the biggest thing is like I was talking about coach, like as long as like I'm either in the UFC or I'm like this close to making it to the UFC, like that's my priority. Because bare knuckle, you're going to get cut. It's not a matter if, like you're going to. So but I told him like the moment that I was like, all right, hey, we're pretty much wrapping up my MMA career. Like I'll do a couple bare knuckle fights because I mean that's where boxing originally came from back in the day was bare knuckle boxing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I want to associate my name with that. So like if I'm involved in combat sports, I want to be part of what the beginning was too.
Yeah. Are you gonna do the slaps?
Nah.
Oh.
Nah, I can't do that one. I can't do
What about combat jiu-jitsu?
I've done combat jiu-jitsu before.
Oh yeah, you have, haven't you?
Yeah.
How would you compare that to like? How would you compare getting slapped to getting punched?
I mean, you can do the open palm strikes in MMA too, so it's nothing I've never dealt before.
Yeah, but it's not the same when there's like a little bit of leather like covering it. Then
No, you in MMA gloves, you don't have leather covering that part of your hand.
I know, but there's still leather there. Like I feel like
no. Like if you the way you are supposed to bring an open palm strike, you're trying to hit with this part.
Yeah, right.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like even if you're wearing a glove, there's not gonna be the leather right there. So it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, but I'm thinking the sting. Like I'd much rather take the force to the sting on that one, just being a little bitch than I am.
Nah, I mean like that's what I'm saying. Like because from dealing with MMA, like I'm used to getting punched. Like sometimes we'll do the open palm strike just because we don't want to end up hurting our hands. Because that's another thing too. Like Taekwondo, karate, the reason why they teach those little open palm strikes is so that way don't break your damn hand. Because if you don't have wraps on, those little, I don't even know what the fuck they call those little bones in your hands.
Metatarsals?
Yeah.
They're easily be able to get broke. Like I remember my very first amateur fight, like very first punch I threw with my right hand, I cracked the guy super hard, but I also felt pain and it's like a stinging sensation shoot through my entire arm. And I broke my hand part of it right there. Like it's still not reset properly. Like you can feel like how the calcium deposit healed over, like it's good to go, but you can definitely tell it was never reset properly. But yeah, like the very first punch I threw broke my damn hand. So, but that's why like those other martial arts that always teach you like throw open palm strikes that way you don't break your hand.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. But no, I've done combat jiu-jitsu. I want to do bare knuckle once or twice before my career's done. It will happen.
You're just a real man. That's what
You're just a real man. What about card-jitsu?
No, because at that point, dude, that's like if somebody's right there, like I have a gun in my car.
That's fair.
There's another guy here in town that it's not jiu-jitsu or anything like it, but it's the the tactical games. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Where it's like a mixture of CrossFit and like shooting and things like that. And so you have the guns and you got the vest on and everything. And so you got to do an exercise and then you got to hit the target, like all the tactical stuff with it and things. And there's a guy, Sean Johnson here, that went to Finland just recently.
Oh shit.
And competed over there for the tactical games or something like that.
You should do that, Jason.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, it looks cool. I the videos have like started coming across my like algorithm on YouTube. Like the little obstacle courses, or even there's some like school in Georgia or whatever that they do like home defense drills or whatever.
Okay.
They have, like big warehouse with like a bunch of rooms in it, like set up like this is supposed to be like a bedroom and this is supposed to be like a couch area, and then it's like home intruder situations and whatnot. And I was like, that would be fun to do. Like that'd be like just fun for the family,
Fun for the family. My kids would be so excited.
Dude, that's like the crazy. Like every time I always hear about this stuff, you always see like the most like geared up tactical people I can see.
Yeah.
And then I immediately think of that one guy from the fucking Olympics from Turkey that just goes out there with none of the stuff you're supposed to have, gets fucking second place.
Yeah.
And then he's just talking shit on his ex-wife the whole time. I'm like, damn.
If she ends up dead, I would probably just suspect it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So got some major clout off that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we need to get on better terms with Turkey.
Yeah. Even my kids are like, yeah, that guy's on Fortnite now. Like they just, I don't know, emote or something.
That's
I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
even them are impressed by it.
He probably like gained the most like net worth off the Olympics than anybody.
Oh, guaranteed. And I'm willing to bet he probably got his dog back too, because that was the first thing he said. He said to his next fight, he's like, I want my dog back.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude. It's like, bro.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I would give him his dog back.
Yeah, I think the man deserves his dog back.
Yeah. I mean, like, second place for his country. Like,
Yeah.
that man his dog
Hey,
back.
put
That's
it.
pretty
Hey,
crazy.
comment if you think the man should have his dog back. I wonder what kind of dog it was. Like, I mean, like here we got. I don't know what Turks are into, but like I know like Russians are into like Tibetan Mastiffs and whatnot, and like you got Labradors
You're
and
just
stuff.
stereotyping everywhere.
What do you mean? Like
What are Americans into?
Labradors, Golden Retrievers,
Okay,
like
that's fair.
poodles, like
German
Yeah,
Shepherds.
German Shepherds. Yeah.
Well, that was like, so going back on that one guy, I saw this fucking meme. I know you'd get a kick out of this. It showed him like sitting there with a cat. And it's like, well, if that cat ever goes missing, we know we're going to get 5 movies out of this dude.
That's right. Real life John Wick.
Yeah.
My kids are asking if they can watch it. So like Deadpool, we saw Deadpool, right?
Yeah.
And so my kids are like, "Can I watch it?" I'm like, "Sorry, you can't watch it." It's just a little.
gory.
And the gore is a little more than I'd like, but there's just so many sexual jokes,
Yeah.
all of that stuff on top of it beyond the gore. And I'm like, sorry, I can't. Can we watch John Wick? I'm like, you might be able to watch John Wick.
I think John Wick's acceptable.
I think it's
Like,
okay.
yeah.
Like
like
nothing crazy in it.
they-
I don't think.
they make the kills real quick. Like they don't make him like sit on it. Like he's got some mercy, Like,
Yeah.
you know,
When I grew up watching stuff like Terminator.
Did you ever hear about the drinking game for John Wick?
Mhm.
Take a drink every time you kill somebody.
Take a shot.
No, you can't do shot.
You just die.
You die. Yeah,
Okay.
you die alcohol poisoning. Especially in that fourth one. Like,
Yeah.
I remember when my buddy was sitting there texting me. He's like, "Hey man, it's like, grab a case of beer." He's like, "Take a drink every time you kill somebody, bro. You'll be like 2/3 of that case will be gone,
Really?
bro. It's insane.
I don't think I saw the fourth one. I think I saw the first
it's
3 though.
it's long. It's like 2.5 hours.
think about your job being having to like choreograph ways to kill people. Like just your job is like you just choreographing just
Dream job.
people's death. Like just horrible ways for people to die.
So would you be a sociopath or a psychopath?
I think a sociopath. I think a psychopath is if you harm somebody else. I think the sociopath is just not acting on it, and the psychopath is when you act
Well, I
on
mean, he's technically not acting on it.
it. That's fair.
Truth.
That's what I'm saying. A sociopath. Yeah. I think
I don't know the definition's clear enough.
unless he
Maybe
is
a
acting
guess.
on it and we don't know.
True. If you got those kind of ideas in your head already, like
Yeah, where they come from.
Yeah.
You got a lot of
he gets
alone
the
time.
noose out when he gets a lot of alone time too.
Hey, don't we all?
Find him hanging in his room one day on accident with his pants down.
So the first one or the second one where he kills the guy with a pencil?
First one.
Yeah.
First one.
Wait, no, they Mitch Tank kills somebody with a pencil. I think it was like actually in the fourth one where he actually does kill somebody. with a pencil.
Yeah. He's like, his son's like, who is it? He's like, you have no idea who he done. He's killed somebody with a pencil, and he's like,
I see these things get advertised to me on Facebook. They probably advertise to you guys too, but they look like a Sharpie, but it's like like a metal. It's metal, but it's like not metal detector, and so it's like a sharp tip
like a polymer,
that you could like stab into somebody sharp. And it's like, I don't get those. I get those all the time, dude. I get them all the time. And it's like this self-defense tool that'll go through metal detectors and like TSA and all sorts of stuff because it looks like a Sharpie.
Well, that's something that always amazed me about like with TSA, like you can't bring your little nail flyers or flyers anymore on there and stuff like that. Because like you use as weapons. Like I can use my fucking pencil as a weapon too, but I can, and my pen, like I can use all that stuff as a weapon. Like, makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. The illusion of safety. Yeah, the illusion. They fail like 99% of the times whenever they test them.
The illusion of safety. That is true.
They do like to grope me though every time. They're like, you know what? I think we see something near your balls. Our scanner popped and it's a big red mark right here, whatever it is, next to your balls. We're gonna have to touch you.
It's go like a trip back, just.
Yep.
Yeah. Even TSA, even
keep rubbing on it.
Even TSA pre-check.
They still do it on the pre-check.
Yep.
I thought about the pre-check.
The only thing is you get to keep your shoes on. So I'm gonna get my balls touched, but at least I get to keep my shoes on.
Yeah. Yeah. They like to touch my balls at TSA. I don't know. Yeah. I guess it's the warmth.
Yeah.
The warmth of that region, my armpits, my hat. A lot of times you get it. I got to check your hat. I'm like, all right.
Oh, my hat. Yeah.
So I don't know. Did you ever opt out of the body scan?
No.
You guys pro body scan?
TSA pre-check, so I don't have.
They don't body scan you?
No. Okay. We just go through the little metal detector and then every now and then a random check.
Dude, yeah. I feel like it's like, I don't know, just going through a metal detector, like, because people can make stuff that with completely out of like polymer that would not get picked up in that metal detector.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's just TSA pre-check. What the weirdest thing is where you go is like what determines the regulations that they're going to do for TSA. Like I went through Chicago, metal detector, keep your shoes on, keep everything in your bag. I guess we're in a hurry today. So like keep everything in there, keep your shoes on, keep your belt on, all of it. And then you go some places like shoes off, everything out, every single item bigger than a cell phone, everything. So,
I also think it's crazy is like people think that there's air marshals on every flight.
Yeah.
And there's not. Like, it's like maybe like,
you guys can flights.
Yeah, exactly. There's like, think how many flights are that you would know. Well, how many air marshals do you know?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know any.
Fair.
Yeah, so there's not that many, and so I feel like there's also that false sense of safety, like, if anything happens, like somebody else is going to take care of us, and in reality, like, no, nobody's coming to take care of you up there, like
or Jason drives everywhere. Drives on Padre.
Yeah, because of the TSA,
the nut touching.
I don't want to deal with the TSA.
Yeah,
it's just because they touch nuts. So
had a bad experience once.
Enlighten me.
Nah.
Jason used to be Catholic.
I'd be curious. I think it would go differently these days, versus the 9/11 days when somebody was really trying to start some shit. I think it'd go a little different.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I think they were probably more ballsy back then.
I don't think so. I think people saw that.
Well, I think nobody had ever flown a plane into a building before.
Yeah.
We'd never seen that. So I think they all thought that they were just going to get hijacked, taken somewhere, and then like let go.
Yeah, like ransom.
Yeah.
See too many movies where plane gets hijacked.
Dude, but there's so many like foreign governments who have done that, who have like taken planes and like killed everybody on board and shit like that, where I'm just like,
I think they thought they were just getting hijacked and that they were just using the plane for something and that they weren't going to fly it into a building. That's when they had that United 93. They had already heard about it.
Yeah.
Whether or not they got shot down by a missile or they actually crashed themselves is the question. But they had heard that those two planes, those two planes had hit the towers, and so the story is that they rushed them.
But how did they hear about
the plane? They had phones. They were calling people, just like the people were leaving messages for their wives and stuff. Whenever they're like, "Hey, I'm on a plane. They hijacked it. I hope I see you." Stuff like that. It's the real messed up.
It's
calls.
like Apple phones. You can still, as long as you're connected to the Wi-Fi while you're in there, you can still get text messages.
But this is 2001, and Wi-Fi didn't exist.
No, in 2001. I mean, you got phone calls for people that were on planes that were hijacked. Hey, it's Jim. I'm on a plane.
Wait, so they had landlines on there.
They had some sort of airplane phones.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so there are messages, and it's real. I mean, that's the hard part of 9/11. You listen to those messages. That's the real messed up part when you start. But I think it would, like I said, I think it would go differently these days, based off previous experience, more like the United 93, which, like I said, was it a missile or was it not?
Was it not? And what about, what was the one, Building 5 or Building 5 or
Building 7?
Building 7, yeah, Building 7.
Nothing touched it, just free fell.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What went up there
Worth looking
afterwards
into.
too?
It's just worth looking into.
What went up there afterwards?
I don't know if anything went up in there. I think it was a government building though.
Yeah.
And then you have the Pentagon that was it another plane that crashed?
Yeah.
Pentagon.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly.
Allegedly.
The other people say a potential missile or something like that, or somehow we lost a bunch of money right before all this happened too. From the Pentagon.
Yeah. What was it like?
26 billion or
Yeah, it
something
was
like that?
crazy.
No,
amount.
it was trillions. It was
No,
in
it
the
was
trillion.
No, it was a billion. It was in the billions. It was like 126 billion or something.
Yeah. It was a big amount, and it was the day before, like September 10th, and then all of a sudden that crashes into the Pentagon,
Yeah.
and all the towers and everything.
Yeah, because it was the DoD that was missing the budget.
Like, we don't
Yeah.
know where this money went.
It was all skunk work stuff.
Crazy.
I personally believe all the official stories.
Me too.
Who killed Kennedy?
Yeah, whatever the government tells you.
2.3 trillion.
2.3 trillion was what was missing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
2.3 trillion.
They couldn't allocate 2.3 trillion from the Pentagon.
Dude,
Like, what do they do with that money?
and
Where's
that's
2.3 trillion?
that's in 2000.
Spreading democracy.
Yeah, it's
Spreading.
That's what I was gonna say. Like maybe that's in like today's money, because back then like the defense budget's like never been 2.3 trillion.
I would assume they're probably
It's
equating it to today's money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like back in the day, it would have been in the billions, because like the Department of Defense, like you are planning on getting it demolished this year, so that way you don't have to pay for it next year, right? But your budget says you're paying for it this year. A continued resolution is a continuation of previous year fiscal year funding. So even if that were next year, even if that house doesn't exist, or in a previous fiscal year and the laws that pertain to it, that money is still getting allocated to the house.
Of course.
Yeah.
Love the government.
Waste.
My best interests at heart.
Right?
All the time.
Trend not. No, it was 2.3 trillion in their time.
Did you see the news today with RFK?
Did he announce his backing for Trump?
He is dropping out of the race, and they're backing Trump.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We were actually talking about that the other day.
Yeah, that's big. That's big news.
Yeah, I mean it's the other side that's backing
A Democrat that's backing Trump.
Yeah.
And JFK and RFK's.
Yeah, I mean he's tired of
Son
bullshit.
and-
Him and was it Rand Paul that we're talking about?
Jason, do you think JFK was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald?
Was Rand Paul?
What was Rand Paul the one that we were talking about yesterday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Rand Paul. Yeah, Rand Paul and fucking RFK are like the two politicians in DC right now that really don't play the bullshit
Yeah.
game, that are actually like trying to do better and investigate stuff.
There's another one, Thomas Massey in Congress. Is
Yeah.
a really good one too. So Rand Paul had it was originally Ron Paul had the no tax on tips.
Yeah.
All this shit that they're saying no tax on tips, that was a Ron Paul idea.
Yeah.
07 Ron Paul, pretty sure, maybe 2012. And Rand Paul's his son, and so I've been a Ron Paul fan since then. And then you got Thomas Massey, who's the same way, and they're real constitutional. They vote by the Constitution. If something has in a bill that would be approved by everybody else, but it has something hidden back in there that's not constitutionally accurate, they'll vote no.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're just very politicians.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it is. It'd be nice, they could you could just put RFK in charge of the CIA,
Wouldn't that be fun?
take old Pompeo's job back, back in the day.
Dude,
That'd be interesting to find out, what happened to your uncle,
Right.
I think that would be very interesting.
I think he already knows, obviously.
Do you know Jason?
What happened to JFK?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
CIA killed him.
Okay. I wasn't sure you were on that one.
The driver shot him.
Yeah.
Who was the head of the CIA when JFK was assassinated?
This is Edgar Hoover.
No, look it up.
Or no, it was
I think I know.
I was thinking the FBI.
I believe he became president.
I think I know who you're thinking about too, and
I think you're right. I think that's who it is. We'll see.
Eisenhower.
Give me the Jeopardy music, dude.
Let's see here.
Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover was FBI.
Yeah.
So CIA is what we're looking at.
That's what I said. Yeah, it was John A. McGowan.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who you're thinking. You're thinking of HW.
It's HW, so I was thinking of what was he in charge of at the time?
Yeah, it was weird when he was elected chairman of the Texas Republican Party. So he was elected. He became the Republican chairman for the Republican Party in '63.
Interesting.
And when did he? When?
Well, I mean, he was still in Texas.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what
True.
I'm saying. See, it seems a little bit weird.
The whole Bush dynasty, Clinton dynasty,
Dude, the net worth of those.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. I love it. They have my best interests at heart. I love it.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's what's been cracking me up too with everybody that's been supporting Michelle Obama's speech about how we all must share everything. But it's all like, what about your $1 million homes that you have?
multiple
Yeah.
$1 million homes, like
Did you
3 to 4 homes that are all worth like $5 to $20 million, like crazy.
You notice how
Like
she
we
was wearing
gotta
a turtleneck?
sacrifice. Why? Why was she wearing a turtleneck?
Yeah, I don't
How's
know.
that relevant?
I was, you know, my wife and I were watching it, and I was like, honey, she's wearing a turtleneck, you see? And then
There's all sorts of good Obama and Michelle conspiracy theories out there. You know, you got the birther, you know, the truther movement, whatever it was, the birth certificate back in the day. It's a good one.
yeah.
You know, you got Michelle Obama's man.
Well, it's weird because his fucking campaign, like one of his campaign managers or something like that was like said that he was born overseas, and that's what like really spun that up. And so like, why the fuck did your campaign manager say that?
I think there was probably some truth to what was going on with that being born overseas and things. And I think they wanted to define like what natural born citizen meant.
Yeah.
And that's what the question really, and they did not want that conversation. So they have a birth certificate, then that's all that mattered. I mean,
They have a birth certificate.
His mom was from Wichita, right? Something
Yeah.
like that. And so, I mean, he was an American citizen, but was he born in America? But his father was not American, was he qualified or not? I think was the conversation. Obviously, it doesn't matter at this point in time, but I don't know the answer.
Yeah. I want to say yeah, because the mom was it. And then once they hit a certain age, they can choose their citizenship at that point.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, he grew up in America anyway. You know, it's kind of a silly argument at a certain point. It's an American guy.
Yeah.
You know, grew up in wherever he was, became senator of Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, likes to do
Pretty
drugs,
quickly.
do drugs and crazy things with other people too.
Yeah.
Some of the other
Yeah.
Obamas.
Yeah.
What crazy things you talking about?
You know, there's one guy said he just showed up at his door and brought some drugs and wanted to have sex with him. I don't know. So
That's weird.
I don't know why that guy would make it up personally. I wouldn't make up something like that.
Was it?
He has nothing to gain by
What-
making up that story.
Yeah, that's true.
What was that?
Just hardship in his life for the rest of his life.
Was he a driver or like how did he connect?
I don't even think he knew. What the story goes that this guy came to his door. He didn't know who he was. They did, either fellatio or something like that happened at that time. Smoked crack, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he didn't know who the guy was until he saw him running for president.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Holy crap! That's the dude that came to my door. That's the dude that got on his knees. Blah blah blah."
That's dude. Yeah.
And so then he recognized who he was because he didn't know he was a senator or something like that. You know, there's all sorts of good
Allegedly.
ones. There's all sorts of good conspiracy theories. On the opposite side, there's all the Trump. You know, I saw the you missed the Trump. You know, there's a lot of them. Was it Ivanka that died recently or something like that? I saw a bunch of people saying that Trump buried all of the documents and things in her coffin with her. It's like, dig her up. She was buried in Mar-a-Lago. Dig her up. She's got it all.
Yeah.
So everybody's got conspiracy theories, left, right, middle. You know.
Well, you know why he buried her there? Burying a body on your land.
Family member. You can just say burying a body.
Yeah, it can be.
Well, we're on a podcast.
All our
so-
lands.
Oh yeah, dude. There's got to be some.
Yes.
He's correct then. All right.
Some are stricter. Some states are stricter, but most states do.
All right.
Yeah. So I was gonna say I don't think like if Jared died and I buried his body on my land that it would qualify for that because
Well, if you got married to Jared first, you could.
that's what I'm saying.
Otherwise, I'd say if I die, you guys can bury me in your backyard.
Just
He does.
just
Have to be the whole body.
Dude, that would
That's
be.
a good. Can you
that's
cremate
split
me
you up.
and then do it?
That's a good point. And if it had to be a family member, like how far back? Because that'd be direct. 2, we could start selling burial rights instead of like selling plots. You could start selling your body like after it's dead to like save people property taxes.
There you go.
That's a whole nother industry we could open up right here.
All right. That's the next business venture. It's kind of like Uber, and except for you just connect with people that are going to be buried in your backyard.
Yeah, you just connect to hospice.
It's like a Tinder. Like swipe if you want to be buried. Yeah, I'd bury that guy in my backyard.
Yeah.
I don't think that guy's gonna come back at all.
Nah.
Yeah.
He looks nice. I'd let him be buried in my backyard. I think that's about it for the show,
Yeah,
guys.
I think that's a good way to end it.
We start going off on conspiracy theories and tangents. There, it's about over. You got anything last words, Jason?
No.
Any words? I was on this podcast one time, and this guy gave me an option, and I'm going to give you the same option, right? You can give me either your best joke or your best piece of advice, and that's how we're going to end.
I don't have any good jokes.
That's what I said too. So now you're gonna have to give your best piece of advice. So he put me on the spot just like this. It's very uncomfortable. I was so which one is it? You don't have any advice, huh?
I got a joke for you, Jason. I've told it to you before.
All right, let's hear the joke.
But for the audience.
Okay.
Let's see. What do you call an epileptic midget that likes pizza? Little Caesars.
All right. Epileptic midget that likes pizza. Little Caesars. It's a good one.
Thank you for watching the Nut Club.
Thanks for hanging out with us,
Thank
guys.
you for cranking it out with the Nut Club. Episode 27.
Hey, before we stop, you got your fight coming up November 2nd, right?
Yep.
Kansas City.
Yep, Kansas City, Kansas this time.
Kansas City, Kansas.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah.
Stateside, baby.
I might